Let's start with Tsutomu Yamaguchi. Tsutomu was a marine engineer for Mitsubishi, and in August 1945, he was on a business trip in Hiroshima. It was his last day. He was literally heading to the station to go home when he realized he'd forgotten his hunko, a personal stamp. So he goes back to get it. At 8:15 a.m., the first atomic bomb in human history detonates less than 2 miles away. Tsutomu survives. He's badly burned, his eardrums are ruptured, and he's temporarily blind, but he manages to crawl to a shelter. The next day, he thinks, yeah, I'm done with Hiroshima, and catches a train back to his hometown, which just happened to be Nagasaki. 3 days later, he's in his office, heavily bandaged and looking like a mummy, trying to explain the Hiroshima blast to his boss. His boss literally tells him,
"You're crazy! One bomb can't destroy a whole city!"
And right at that moment, the second flash happens. Tsutomu is blown across the room, but once again, he's in the Goldilocks zone of survival. He lived to be 93. Imagine being the only guy in the room who can say, "I told you so," while a mushroom cloud is literally forming outside the window. That is some main character energy with a very dark script. Then we have Roy Sullivan. Roy was a park ranger in Virginia, which sounds peaceful until you realize Roy was basically a 6-foot-tall copper wire. Between 1942 and 1977, Roy was struck by lightning 7 times. The odds of this? 4.15 in 100 nonillion. That's a 1 followed by 32 zeros. To put that in perspective, you have a better chance of winning the lottery while being eaten by a shark that was also struck by lightning. It wasn't just ouch, a spark. The first one blew his big toenail off, the second one fried his eyebrows, the third one seared his left shoulder, the fourth one set his hair on fire. Roy got so paranoid that he started carrying a bucket of water in his truck just in case his head started smoking again. And the worst part? It ruined his social life. People literally stopped hanging out with him because they didn't want to be collateral damage. He was once walking with the chief ranger when a storm started, and the chief literally said, "I'll see you later," and bolted. Eventually, Roy began to believe the clouds were following him, and honestly, he might have been right. He once saw a cloud, tried to outrun it in his truck, got out when he thought he was safe, and bam! Strike number 6. The universe is a stalker, Roy. If you're planning a cruise, check the manifest for a woman named Viloet Jessop, or rather don't, because she's dead now. But back in the 1910s, she was the ultimate survivor's guilt final boss. Viloet was a stewardess for the White Star Line. She was on the RMS Olympic when it collided with a warship in 1911. The ship nearly sank, but she was fine. A year later, she decided to try the RMS Titanic. You've seen the movie. She was ordered onto Lifeboat 16 to show the passengers it was safe. As the boat was being lowered, an officer handed her a random baby to look after. She survived, got onto the rescue ship, and a woman, presumably the mom, grabbed the baby out of her arms and ran off without saying a word. At this point, most people would take a job in a desert, but not Viloet. 4 years later, she's a nurse on the HMHS Britannic. It hits a German mine and starts sinking fast. Viloet jumps overboard, but the ship's massive propellers are still spinning, sucking lifeboats and people into the blades. Viloet gets sucked in, hits her head on the keel, but somehow pops back up and is rescued. Decades later, she went to a doctor for a headache, and he told her she had a healed fracture in her skull she never knew about. She literally survived the 3 biggest ship disasters of the era, and her biggest complaint in her memoir? She forgot her toothbrush on the Titanic. Priorities. Finally, there's Anne Hodges. Anne is the only person in recorded history to be confirmed hit by a meteorite. In 1954, Anne was taking a nap on her couch in Alabama. She's cozy, she's dreaming, and minding her own business. Suddenly, a 4.5 billion-year-old rock from space punches through her roof, bounces off her Philco radio, and slams into her hip. She woke up thinking the space heater had exploded, but no, it was a literal gift from the heavens. Now you'd think, hey, I have a space rock, I'm rich. Wrong. This is where the unlucky part kicks in. Her landlord sued her for ownership of the rock, claiming it fell on his property. They fought in court for a year. By the time Anne finally got the rock back, the public had stopped caring and no one wanted to buy it. She ended up using it as a doorstop before donating it to a museum. She got a pineapple-sized bruise from a different galaxy and a legal bill. Thanks, NASA. So next time you think you're having a bad day because your Starbucks order was wrong or you missed your bus, just remember Sullivan. The universe might be out to get you, but at least it hasn't used you as a lightning rod or a meteorite target yet. Either way, I'll see you in the next one.